Have you ever wondered how much influence the Walt Disney Company has over the creation of media? How can this influence be measured? Is it through market share? Is it through money made? Is it through politicians influenced? Now here's a disclaimer before we continue. I didn't make this video to hate on Disney. I made this video specifically to fight against the forces of monopoly. And the type of monopoly that Disney is making is very dangerous for working class Americans. With Disney's acquisition of the 20th Century Fox's television and film production divisions, Disney's massive influence has only increased. And with Disney's history of influencing politicians to create laws that benefit them, action must be taken to protect American consumers. Antitrust action must be taken to break up the Walt Disney Company. The basic premise of copyright law is that content creators should be compensated for works that they produce. Copyright itself is defined as the exclusive legal right to reproduce, publish, sell, or distribute the matter and form of something. Basically meaning that the creator of a work should have control over the way something is brought into the world to be consumed. What's relevant to this video is copyright duration, because after a period of time, a work under copyright enters the public domain, meaning that that work becomes available to the public to be used without having to pay for it. As lifespans have increased and as world markets have become interconnected, several laws have been passed in the United States that increase the duration of time that copyright applies to. The Copyright Term Extension Act, passed in 1998, is the most recent example. The CTEA was passed by Congress in order to bring copyright duration in line with legislation in the European Union. From Wikipedia. The 1998 Act extended copyright duration to life of the author plus 70 years, and for works of corporate authorship to 120 years after creation, or 95 years after publication, whichever end is earlier. Copyright protection for works published before January 1st, 1978 was increased by 20 years to a total of 95 years from the publication date. The CTEA is also known as the Mickey Mouse Protection Act, not only because the act itself made Mickey Mouse protected under copyright until 2019, but also because of the lobbying efforts that the Walt Disney Company performed in the lead-up to the passing of the CTEA. From a CNN article in 1998. The Disney Empire opened an office and hired lobbyists in Washington in 1990, and it has become an influential force on legislation. Among its activities, it is one of the top media conglomerates contributing to political campaigns. Recipients of campaign money include members of key committees such as Senator Patrick J. Leahy, a Democrat from Vermont, a family friend of Michael J. Eisner, who was then Walt Disney Company chairman, and ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, and Representative Howard Coble, RNC chairman of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Arts and Intellectual Property, which oversees copyright issues. It has contributed nearly $800,000 to political campaigns in the 1997-98 cycle. It has courted members of congressional delegations in California and Florida, where its theme parks pump billions of dollars a year into local economies in Orlando, Florida, and Anaheim, California. It has begun a major reorganization that will combine the lobbying firepower of Disney and its subsidiary ABC Incorporated under Preston Patton, who left his job as president of ABC Television Network Incorporated to take over the task of upgrading Disney's lobbying operation. Disney spent more than $1.5 million on lobbying last year. It took a leading role in Hollywood in promoting closer ties to Republican leaders to help move legislation. On June 29th, 3 weeks after Eisner's meeting with Trent Lott, who was then Senate Majority Leader, Disney sent John F. Cook, Executive Vice President for Corporate Affairs, to a meeting hosted by another major Hollywood company, Universal Studios, a subsidiary of the Seagram Company Limited, in Studio City, California, to discuss legislation with Speaker Newt Gingrich and Representatives David Dreyer and Mary Bono, both from California. It is clear that from the amount of money that the Walt Disney Company makes off of Mickey Mouse played no small role in Disney's lobbying effort. But Disney's efforts to involve itself in the lawmaking process are only one part of the reason why Disney should be broken up. Let's now take a look at the brands and companies that Disney has acquired. The Walt Disney Company owns several other companies: ABC, and 80% in ESPN, Touchstone Pictures, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Core Publishing, and more. Of the brands Disney owns, there is Star Wars, The Muppets, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, the Indiana Jones franchise, as well as more. That isn't even to talk of the recent Disney-Fox merger. This is an unprecedented amount of influence for one company to have over content creation. This must not be allowed to continue. The Walt Disney Company is wealthy enough to exert great control over the lawmaking process, and in the past has proved it will not hesitate to do so. They are also willing to twist the arms of theater owners in order to make even more money off of their movies, which became clear in the most recent releases of the Star Wars franchise. As I said previously, I didn't make this video out of a particular hatred of Disney, but out of a desire to protect American consumers. I will list my sources that I used in this video in the description. I also have several links to use if you are interested in fighting for your rights as a consumer. Thank you for watching.